All right, guys. Let's do this. Fire away.
So early in the season, you said, "Oh, we're going to squeeze as much as we can out of this year, but it might be a multi-year story." Given how you guys have played so far, has the situation changed? Do you have a team that can win right now?
I mean, that when I said that before, I mean the same thing now. We'll try to squeeze everything we can out of this team, and and we're trying to build something that's sustainable, and that's definitely, my thought process on a daily basis. Whether it's how we approach practice or future scheduling or recruiting. I mean, it's the same thing. I got to do a great job with the guys we have now. They deserve it, and they're doing a great job. And then we got to do the best things we can for the program moving forward.
Has this team exceeded even your expectations?
You guys, I'm probably not going to give you one of this stuff. My mind is so simple. It's now or next. And we had a great game against Illinois. It was awesome. Okay, now we need to put that away and we need to get on to the next one. I know that's probably not what you guys want to hear, but I'm just literally giving you a peek behind the curtain of my mind. That's how I work. I've never been great at reminiscing or this or that. These guys are great, and I'm really proud of how they've been, just the energy and the spirit and the cohesion they play with. I mean, if that's what you're looking for, I'm extremely proud of that. I'm extremely proud of how they've, taking game plans and trying to execute them, when we might be changing things game to game, and when they've been able to make changes within a game. I mean, that's fun as a coach, and that group of young guys out there deserve a lot of credit.
From this last game, what do you think you learned the most that you need to fix or change about your?
I mean, you learn those every game, I mean, I think when we do things right, we're really good. And when we don't do things right, we're not as good. So some of the things we're not doing right, or not as consistent as we want to be in that area, can we grow? And, that's what we did. Yesterday was 100% focused on Arizona basketball. Today, we'll turn our focus to Northern Colorado.
Was there anything specifically about that game that you think?
I mean, nothing crazy other than, genuine, maybe a breakdown here and there, or a missed scouting assignment, those types of things. And hey, at the end of the day, I mean, Illinois is a good team, and they have a force inside that you have to you have to make some adjustments on how you're going to guard him. I mean, he's a good player, and so he probably gave up a few more threes than I like to give up, but those threes didn't all come off him. I mean, some of them came off him, others came. You're trying to pressure, and if a team's willing to try to beat your press and shoot a quick three, a lot of times you'll live with that because that gets the tempo going how we want to go. And they made a couple of those. They had some good adjustments to some of our coverages, and they made the shots, and so nothing. I mean, crazy specific, but all in all, it's happy with how we responded, because the game is a game of mistakes, and how you respond from those mistakes and limit those mistakes ultimately, determines the outcome. And I think our guys are doing a great job.
What's the biggest difference in Ben's game now compared to when he first started?
Well, I mean, I think that there's a lot of attention had been put on Ben, and the media and these draft analysts anoint these kids early, and it's easy to type into your computer and put something about a kid, but that kid has to carry that burden, and then people around those kids love those kids, and then they get excited, and so sometimes it's a lot for that kid to carry, and so I think Ben was carrying maybe a little bit of that, and I think starting out slow was a great thing for him, and I really do, because I think it then we could kind of delve into what does the process of playing good look like, and how do you recreate that over and over and over again, and that's what we're doing right now. I mean, he's played a couple good games in a row against some high level teams. Now you know what? Just got to find a way to do it again, and that's just how this game works. And so he's in a good spot, and I think we all need to understand struggle is part of the process, and sometimes you have to welcome struggle and take it head on and learn from it, and that's what Ben did. So that takes high character to do that, and so he deserves a ton of credit.
You talk about dealing with that force that Illinois has down in the paint and Kofi. How do you think Christian did? Because he only had 4 points, but it seemed like he had a huge impact on the game.
Yeah, I mean, Christian does have an impact. He impacts the game in a lot of ways, and and that's the sign of a good player. And, offensively, I mean, Christian might have taken a step back, just the last couple games. But again, Christian's going through that same thing where, he kind of explodes on the scene. And the next thing people are jumping to these massive conclusions, on what their future looks like. And it's a lot for a kid to take in, and so he's kind of having to deal with maybe some of those external things that he has never had to deal with before. So there's just a little bit of an adjustment period. I mean, Christian practiced really good yesterday. I thought he kind of looked back to the player that I know that he is. His balance was way better. His force was way better. And that's something he's got to learn how to value and recreate every single day. But having him in there defensively, at the start of the second half, I thought when we had those couple possessions where, we maybe took the double team off of him and Christian was able to, contest 3 of his shots in a row, I thought was a good sign for us. When I saw that, I'm like, all right, we can figure this thing out. We just got to hang in there a little bit. And so Christian, is a special player and deserves a bunch of credit for impacting the game with maybe not playing his best offensive game.
Anything specific about his offensive game, and is that related at all to that ankle thing? Because it seems like,
I mean, obviously it could be, but injuries isn't something we like to use as an excuse. I just think you got to get low. You got to when none of us have in this room have ever been 7'1" and skinny with a high center of gravity. So I think the battle for him is constantly learning how to stay low and gain leverage in those contact situations. And I think when he does that, he's gotten really good. When he doesn't do that, I think he struggles. So I mean, I don't think it's super complicated, but it's probably easier said than done.
The only school in the nation with 250 basketball teams, both in the top 10. Have you passed Adia Barnes in the corridor? Has there been any type of exchange?
I mean, she texted me and just it was a very simple text, and you guys know Adia. It was first one to lose buys dinner, and so that's where we're at.
Tommy, can you follow back up on the low post after watching the film? What did you think of Umar Ballo's play? And by the way, who works with the big men specifically when you talk about working and trying to get a lower center of gravity?
First off on Umar's done a great job. Umar, I mean, it's well documented, really struggled at Gonzaga and kind of maybe lost his fire a little bit. So he's got that back. I mean, he's doing a great job on the weight room with Coach Rounds, and he's getting in way better shape. I think, they even said his body fat's under 10%, which is, huge gain for him. And he's got the eye of the tiger a little bit. I told him, I met with him yesterday, he wanted to meet with me, and I told him, you're back on track, and the minutes you're giving us are really helping. But now you need to attack your development. You don't sit there and just want more. You got to do more. And those are the conversations we're having. And he's a special kid, and he's got a special place in my heart, and he always will. And I'm looking forward to him really growing throughout the course of the season in his career at Arizona.
And who works with the big men?
Oh, the big men. Jack Murphy does, in day-to-day practice a lot. Ricardo Foyce does a lot, in some of our outside workouts. And then, I love bigs. So, I even throw myself down there once in a while and love working with those guys. It's just, use the analogy, working with, you guys wouldn't know this, you desert people, but working with, bigs is like mowing your lawn. Every time you go around, you see progress. And so you can see progress fast with big guys sometimes, and so I've always just loved working with them because I think bigs in today's basketball are underappreciated and underutilized, and I always love having the biggest, strongest guys on the floor.
Like Ballo, what does that do for your team to have that guy come off the bench, either play with Christian or leave Christian, and not lose anything height-wise?
Well, yeah, whether it's height-wise, it's more impact-wise. It gives you a physical force, and it gives you rim protection. And now, if you're the other opposing team, Kofi, he's one of one in college basketball, I think. I haven't seen everybody, but I think. But, if you're having to deal with CeeLo, and then, then Umar takes the baton from him, and now you got to deal with Umar. They're a little bit different, but both, physical presence. And I think it's a lot. I think there's an accumulation, effect with those guys, and I think they kind of wear other teams down, whether it's foul pressure or just banging with them the whole game. And it's something I love watching it, and I love having guys like that on my team.
Point after you guys landed in Indy, did you decide to Uber or Lyft there, and how did that change?
Pretty quick. I'll give, Jack Murphy took the lead on that. Jack's an amazing crisis manager, and he attacks it, and he attacked that, and we kind of put our heads together as a staff, and we had, I think, like 80 boosters on the trip too, so we had a lot of people, and we just decided, because they had told us the buses, it was going to be faster for the buses that we'd already rented to come from Champaign to pick us up, which is about an hour and 45-minute drive, than it would be to get buses in Indianapolis. So we just made a quick audible and said, hey, we don't want to be sitting here on this plane, because we couldn't get off the plane was the other problem, because there was a bunch of diverted planes in Indianapolis. So you're sitting in the plane on a runway. And once we got the Ubers, they let us that had Ubers off the plane. And so we thought it would just be best to get our guys to Champaign earlier. They could have dinner, relax. We kind of adjusted our schedule once we were there. But to be honest with you, it's a great story now. But, after it happened and we got to the hotel, I was like, well, we're here. Let's find a way to win this game tomorrow. So, yeah, really. But now the Ubers, you can only get one Uber per phone, right? So we're all getting Ubers, and I got an Uber. And then you know how Uber drivers are sometimes, right? They show up and figure out where you're going, and then they take off. And all the Ubers stayed except for mine. My guy took off, so I had to wait and get another one. So, but yeah, it was good. It was good. It's a good story, and it's actually scary because we didn't have any idea that the tornadoes or stuff were going on. I just know driving there, it was raining really hard, and our driver had two hands on the wheel the whole time and he had to hold it to stabilize the car because it was so windy.
At Gonzaga, did you ever have any experiences like that where travel just got crazy?
Well, all the time. Landed up in Spokane area for sure. Where we might have to land in Coeur d'Alene, Moses Lake, Pullman, just because of fog. It was like, coming home after a Saturday night, road trip. It was always a crapshoot whether we were going to land in Spokane. So, for sure.
Back on it though, do you think that 2 hours? It's basically you saved 2 hours by doing that with the guys. Could that have made a difference?
I think so, because with you're dealing with teenagers and young guys. One thing they don't do good is just sit around, and so just sitting on that plane, I think they would have gone a little bit stir crazy. So I think Coach Murph made a great call in getting us moving, and then once we got there, we just said, hey guys, okay, stop. We're here, you guys. You AAU kids are used to riding in a car to Vegas and playing 3 games in a day. You European kids are used to riding on a bus 6 hours to a game and then 6 hours back right after. So this is nothing. Let's just get a good night's rest and try to find a way to come out and compete tomorrow.
Reflect on the lessons learned from going to Illinois, hostile crowd, they go on a 19-0 run, how that's going to make you stronger when you have to go to Poly Pavilion and some of the other Pac-12 venues?
Yeah, you just I think the lesson learned is stick together, and we talked about that before the game. No matter what happens, we're going to stay together. Good and bad. Through the thick and the thin, and you just stay together and you hang in there. And that's it's not super complicated, but you do that by having high character guys, and I think it's important to talk about, hey, what are we going to do when blank hits the fan? You got to talk about your team with that. So you can I had a great coach, a mentor of mine, a guy named Steve Hertz, and he was a baseball coach at Gonzaga for a lot of years, and he used to always talk about, you need to have a planned response for adversity. And when you have a planned response for adversity, then you're not letting your emotions get into it as much. And I think that's great advice, and that's something we talk about.
You mentioned earlier just approaching things simply still. On the outside there, do you feel that after a big win like that, people congratulating you more, your name out there, whatever, Tommy Lloyd's doing a great job, blah, 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 that kind of stuff? Does that affect you? Or
it doesn't affect me. It's better than the alternative, but no, I don't read into that stuff too much because I also know that, you play a tough game Wednesday and, there's going to be that other part of the aisle that's going to say, oh, whatever they want to say. So you just take it with a grain of salt. I love the passion. I love the fan interest. I don't mind the media at all because I think it's all important. It's part of it. We're doing what's cool for me is that me and our team are doing something that people are interested in. and you can't have it both ways. Where so for me, that's a long answer to a short question, but I don't read into that stuff or let it impact me.
Do you ever hear from former players? I mean, back last summer, you were talking about, hey, you acknowledge some of them might be disappointed that they picked you, and here you are 9-0.
I mean, yeah, we got a lot of positive response from former players, but I mean, I'm not living my life or doing this job to prove people right or prove people wrong. Like I'm just literally trying to do the best job I can on a day-to-day basis. I think that's where my focus and energy needs to be. And I've never been a spiteful person. I don't root against people. I don't root against teams. I don't root against Arizona State, to be honest with you. I hope they do great. And I just hope when we play them, we can find a way to win. I mean, I found when you're spiteful and you focus your energy on other people not doing well, that's taken away from yourself trying to do well. So, that's how I've always approached all that stuff.
What can you tell us about Northern Colorado?
Solid team. I mean, I think they lost a couple games. They probably wish they shouldn't have, but they got a ton of experience. They don't got a ton of depth. They're well coached. I know Coach Smiley. Coach Smiley was an assistant of Jeff Linder, who's the head coach at Wyoming now. So and he's done a good job. And so they've kind of continued a lot of the similar concepts, that Northern Colorado used to play with. So they do a great job of putting you in some predicaments, how they space the floor, how they move the ball, little tricky plays. So it's going to be a great challenge for us. And hey, we're going to have to show up. We're going to have to play really well. And if not, you're going to be in a dogfight.
How do you approach the next two games, knowing that there's other games that are out there?
Did you just approach them like it's the next game? I mean, we haven't talked about anything after Christmas. We haven't talked about anything after, Northern Colorado. So, we're going to approach it. And if I feel like the guys are letting their guards down or relaxing, I'll let them know. I mean, that's how I approach it.
A lot of threes. Is that maybe a good thing in the sense that you come off a game where you give up 16? The guys
they shoot a lot of threes because they have good 3-point shooters, and they put you in decision-making scenarios. So, I'm obviously not happy we gave up 16 threes, but I'm happy we won. And, and the last game. So, and the 3-point line is always a point of emphasis for us defensively. So we're going to come out and try to do a great job guarding the 3-point line, and hopefully we can. I mean, that's, but teams that shoot and make a lot of threes, they're always going to have your attention.
Do you know if you'll have Kim, or has anything changed on that situation?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's literally a day-to-day deal, and I'm hopeful. We'll have him back soon. But that's about all I got on that.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you guys in a few hours, I guess, or tomorrow.
How would you grade your performance against Illinois, both offensively and defensively?
I think it was too different. Offensively, I don't think I had a good game, but I think defensively, I had a pretty good game. Just getting a couple of stops and blocks and steals. I think there was kind of some big plays down the stretch, that really helped us. I just think offensively, I didn't do a good job, but we won the game, so we get it.
Do you try to not let one side affect what you do on the other side?
Yeah, definitely. I know I'm not always going to have a good game offensively, but I can't let that affect my defense. That's what I'm trying to do every game. Just play as hard as I can on the defensive end and also on the offensive end. But I know some nights it's not going to be perfect offensively, but I can't let it affect my defense.
Ben was named the National Player of the Week today. What's he doing so well?
I mean, he's just playing hard. He plays hard. He does everything coach asks him to do. If he's going there, get extra rebounds. We all know he's a good shooter. Keep shooting the ball well. Just play with more confidence. You can see that game as the game goes on, he's getting more and more comfortable. And I think we need him to be at that level. If you want to go where we want to go, we need him at that level. And I think he knows we need him to be at that level. And I think he's doing a really good job.
He's starting to get NBA draft interest. What about his skill set makes him like that next level player?
I mean, I think everybody, like you guys already can tell, like he's a pro. Like the way he plays, the way he behaves himself, you can tell all that, and he's really athletic. You know, he got everything they need for a player to play at the next level. And now he just gotta get more comfortable and get better at the stuff. Like he knows he had to get better, and yeah, I think he's gonna be all right.
What was it like for you when you guys were in the plane going to Champaign, and then they said that you guys were getting redirected to Indianapolis?
I mean, it was a pretty tough plane ride, because I thought they said the plane was gonna be like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and at some point we were looking at our phone and I asked the flight attendant like, I think it's been 2 hours and 30 minutes, and she was like, there's the level of visibility, something like that. It's too low that we can land, so we have to redirect the flight to Indiana, and we all look at each other like, Indiana, and how far is Indiana from Champaign? They said 2 hours, and we were like, oh wow. And then we got there, the buses were still in Champaign, so they said we were supposed to wait for the buses, and then they were like, we thought it was going to be too long, so I think they took the other Ubers, and we went there, and it was really like, the weather was not really good going from Indiana to Champaign, so it was kind of scary, but I mean, we made it, and I mean, we won the game, so it's a good thing.
How many players per Uber?
Oh, I think it was like three and two staffs. Yeah.
Were you in a decent car?
Yeah, it
considering
was.
your size?
Yeah. It was like the big SUVs, and yeah.
What'd you do on the drive over? Did you listen to music? Did you talk? How'd you guys?
Oh no, actually, because I was actually watching the Illinois game against Iowa on the way on the right there, because we had a game on the computer. I was just watching it, and yeah.
Can you talk about Omar Ballo? He came on the radio with this today, and he said that practicing against you has really helped his game. How has he helped you, having another big man to practice against every day?
I mean, I think you kind of see how he helped me against guys like Kofi. They're really big and stronger than me, and I kind of play against somebody like that every day in practice. For sure, Kofi is a little bit bigger than Umar, but I play against Umar every day in practice. I think he makes me better. Just I have to guard somebody who's bigger and who's like stronger than me and really strong. Like he know how to use his body, and I think he really helped me.
Christian, when you talk about struggling offensively, did any of that have anything to do with the ankle? I know you didn't miss any time with that, but I didn't know if that was your first time spraining it, and was there anything mentally you had to adjust to or anything like that?
I mean, no, I don't think it really had anything to do with my ankle. If I play in the game, it means that I think I'm ready to play. If I wasn't ready to play, I would be like, Coach, no, I don't think I can play with this ankle. But I mean, I think we're not always gonna have a perfect game offensively. You just have to, control your efforts and your energy, and I think that's what I try to do when it's not going my way offensively. Just try to do the other stuff the team needs from me.
So how does it feel like for you being around as long as anybody here, as far as the start you've had, the comments kind of buzz this building? I mean, does it feel different? Are people saying stuff that you're noticing that it's become a bigger deal, or does it seem the same?
I mean, yeah, it feels different. It feels different. My first 2 years, I mean, my freshman year, we were kind of ranked and all those stuff at the beginning, and then and everything happened. And last year was a different year, and this year we were really underlooked. Like nobody really believed in us, and I think each game we just try to prove everybody like we think we're a good team. We can, and we keep getting better. That's a good thing. The good thing is that we keep getting better, and I think we're gonna continue to get better. And yeah.
Does it compare to I think your freshman year after you won that tournament in Anaheim or whatever, you guys were pretty highly ranked. I mean, does it kind of feel like that, or do you feel like?
I mean, for me it doesn't feel like that, because I have a different role this year, so it's different. It's really different. Yeah, I have a different role, and I'm just trying to help my team, and my teammates are doing a really good job right now. Just game after game, just taking the coach's instruction, the scouting, and everything, taking in the good way, and applying during the game.
Anything else for Chris?
So, Tommy just talked about sometimes he'll work with you, Ricardo Foyce, Jack Murphy. He talked about what they've emphasized and what's it like working with Coach Lloyd and Ricardo Foyce being new coaches on the staff.
I mean, it's just they emphasize the techniques. Coach Lloyd he's big about the techniques he uses. He wants you to use good techniques, and you know, and all those guys, they just want us to go out there and play hard. You know, we work on stuff, but at the end of the day, if you work on stuff and you don't go out there and play hard, you're not gonna deliver. And basically, that's what we're working on. You know, just go out there and like Ricky said all day, you gotta be nasty. You gotta be nasty, and that's what we're trying to do.
Tommy said something, you and this also applied to Ben, just and maybe after the Vegas tournament when you got the MVP, that, you know, just all of a sudden expectations are a little higher for you, people talking about you, et cetera, and, you know, some buzz about where you might be as a pro someday. How does that get to you? How does that affect you, or what was it like, I guess, to go through that?
I mean, I try not to think about it, you know, just trying to help my team as much as I can, you know. At the end of the year, all the stuff we're gonna see. But right now, I just want to win. You know, I just want to win. It's my 3rd year here. I haven't won anything with Arizona, so I just focus on my team. You know, everybody in the team is focused. We just want to win, and yeah.
Did you get to keep that belt in Las Vegas, or was that the team?
Oh,
I didn't know it was at the MVP.
The belt was for the team. I had like a ring, kind of ring, yeah, for the MVP.
All right, cool. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.